Are you frustrated with God? Yes, it happens to all of us, so you can admit it. And I know we shouldn't talk like that. I mean, He loves us, He's perfect, He knows everything. But don't you get frustrated when your perfectly good prayers go unanswered? I mean, you have a situation you can't fix, and you know there's an ideal solution. And so you've been praying that ideal solution, and in that solution, you get the results you want, and God gets all the glory. I mean, how can you improve on that? But it's not happening, and you're frustrated. And have you noticed that as time passes and your prayers go unanswered, your faith and trust levels start to sag? And it even gets harder to pray because you're thinking, nothing ever happens. Is He really listening? Well, you aren't the first person to be frustrated with God. In fact, the Bible tells us of the story of some believers who were very frustrated with Jesus. Mary, Martha, and Lazarus were Jesus' very close friends. They were part of His inner circle. They had special access to Jesus. And then one day, Lazarus becomes critically ill. And so Mary and Martha send an urgent prayer request to Jesus. This was the most important prayer request they had ever made. This was a life and death situation. And they knew Jesus could heal him. Jesus was healing people every day. And in fact, Jesus didn't have to physically even come to their village. He could just wave His hand in the direction of Lazarus and he would be instantly healed. But what did Jesus do when He heard that Lazarus was critically ill? Well, He found something to do so He could stay 2 more days where He was. Well, can you imagine how Mary and Martha felt when they heard that? And you know, they were completely frustrated, and we know that because when Jesus finally shows up, they both say to Him, "If only you had been here. If only." You see, they had seen Jesus heal so many people. Why couldn't He have come and healed Lazarus? But Mary and Martha didn't know the whole story. They didn't realize that when Jesus was being delayed, that it was because He was planning a spectacular end to the story. And we don't know the whole story in our situation either. We have no idea what Jesus is planning for the resolution of our situation. But all we know is that God hasn't answered our prayer and we're frustrated. But it's all a matter of trust. And can you trust God that He has your best interest at heart? And can you trust that His timing is better than your timing? And did Jesus love Mary, Martha, and Lazarus while He was delayed? Of course He did. And does Jesus still love you while your prayers are going unanswered and while you're frustrated? Absolutely He does. Has He come through for you in your past experiences? So you can trust Him to work this situation out too, and so that you can have a spectacular ending just like Lazarus had. So to live a transformed life, you have to learn to trust God through the frustrating times. And now I want to hear from you. How has God come through for you after long periods of frustration? Just leave your answer in the box below. And if this is your first visit here, then you need to get my free self-assessment guide. And to do that, just complete the email subscription form, which is right there. And I'll talk to you again next week.